Welcome back to the Spark Konnect podcast. Today's conversation is a special one for me. My guest, David Kolmer, is not only an incredible instructional designer and creative mind, he's also someone I am grateful to call a friend. I've had the joy of being on his podcast, Game Layer, got to check that out, and sharing space with him on If You Ask Betty with Betty Danowitz. And every time I'm in conversation with David, I walk away thinking differently, feeling differently, seeing the world just a little bit more fully. There's a depth to him that's hard to describe. David comes from a background in theater, opera, language, and culture. And you can feel that artistry in everything he does. His perspective on learning is not just about information. It's about experience, emotion, and meaning. In this conversation, we explore creativity and what it really means to design learning that resonates with people on a human level. We talk about theater as a way of understanding others, about imperfection and authenticity, and about the kind of curiosity that keeps us growing. And I'll just say this, it was an honor to hold this conversation. So as you listen, I invite you to slow down a bit, let yourself take it in, and see what new ideas or maybe even new ways of seeing begin to emerge for you. Here's my conversation with David Kolmer. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm with David Kolmer today, and I'm so excited. We've been planning this for a while, and I just can't wait to get into it. Every time David and I talk, we talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So this is going to be a good one. But David, over to you. Please introduce yourself, what you do in learning and development, and then also, you know what I love, what is your artistry?
Awesome. Yeah, we just had like a 30-minute pre-show, right? So yeah, just chatting, getting to know each other. My name's David Kolmer, background in education. Actually started teaching English in Thailand, of all things. Before that, background in theater. Then I got into training facilitation when I came back to the United States and really got interested in instructional design and went back and got a master's in that. So
wow.
focus
I
on
I realized you had a
educational
master's
technology.
in ID. Wow.
Yeah, it's emphasis on educational technology. That's what
Oh my goodness. So you've got both the ID and the ed tech. And you're another actor who became a teacher/trainer.
Yes, that's true. So definite background in theater. I think your other question was, what arts am I in? And I had a whole list of things. I kind of like to open up a lot of my talks with this idea from Christina Wallace. Have you heard of her at all? She's a senior lecturer at the Harvard Business School. So kind of a heavy hitter. She studied under Clayton Christensen. And she has this whole concept that I like. She says, I am a Venn diagram, describing herself as a Venn diagram because she does all these things. She's in the business world. She's in the arts world. She's a solopreneur. And I really feel like I just identify with that. I studied theater, but before that I did music. And before that I did opera. And before that I was a visual artist. I would draw and paint constantly.
Wow.
So I think just creativity is just in my blood.
Yeah.
And I'm always doing something with it. Right now it's e-learning, but in the room behind here, I'm doing paintings, you know?
Yeah.
So
I know every time I see you, whether that be on social media or in person, you're doing something very creative and bringing joy and smiles around us. I remember seeing you when we were at a conference together in person, and we were at dinner and you stole away for a moment, but you didn't just come back like a normal person. You had to be like hiding in the windows and trying to capture our attention and walking funny and playing shadow games.
Yeah, I walked down the stairs like in Wayne's World. I remember that now. Yeah.
That was so fun.
That's how I am.
So you just dropped a little bit of opera in there. Could we just go back to that rewind?
Yeah.
What do you mean opera? Like, do you sing opera as well?
I do. I've been in some operas. Opera Theater of St. Louis had me on. So when I was a kid, I was a child soprano, which for boys is kind of unique. And I was in the St. Louis Children's Choir. I toured through Russia with that and got some auditions with the St. Louis Opera Theater through that and sang in Billy Budd.
What?
Yeah.
This is incredible.
So, classically trained opera singer here. I went to do private lessons for years and I still love a good karaoke. Don't get me wrong, but not really using the voice as much as I probably could be.
Well, I mean, as a young boy, your voice changed, right?
See, and I heard that on NPR once. I felt much better because they said mostly what happens with the child sopranos, when their voice drops, they kind of lose it. They lose the voice a little bit. And that's normal. So I'm not like a professional baritone opera singer. because my voice dropped, and then that's not the best for opera singers to be a child soprano and then have the voice drop. Yeah.
Well, there's kind of a whole sordid history with hoping that or making sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into that, but
I almost got into that, but I don't know if you wanted that discussion on your show. So I
don't
didn't
think we
open
need
that
to
door for
I
you.
think we just
Yeah.
needed to call the elephant in the room, the proverbial elephant in the room there for a
Yeah, with a
moment.
capital C. Yeah, the
I don't
seal.
think there's anyone who's listening right now who didn't just think about that part of
It
history.
popped up in my mind, and I was like, this is Kassy's show. Because if it was my show, we'd be talking about that right now.
I see. Maybe we'll do the after dark version of those things.
There you go. There you go.
Let's just clear the air here. That's not your
Sure.
story.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. Let's just let's yeah, definitely.
It's very interesting. Oh, and I have one other question for you before we move from opera. Have you met my friend Rusty Shields, also, who's been on the show, and he is a formerly trained opera singer as well?
I know that name, and I should just say yes, I know him, but I don't.
Yeah, he's an ATD master facilitator, and
Okay.
the conferences too, and he's been on the show.
Okay.
And I'll just have to make sure that I make an
I
introduction.
recognize him. I just looked him up. Yeah, I think we're LinkedIn friends. So it's one of those where it's like,
Well,
yeah,
now I'm
I
like,
know
wait,
him.
I know 2 opera
Air
singers?
quote.
This is crazy.
I mean,
Cool.
previous opera singer, because I didn't go that route the route that shall not be named on Kassy's show. Yeah, I mean,
Beautiful.
so let's change the subject.
Yeah. Okay. Very
No.
interesting though. Seriously. But then, but in college and high school, when did you pick up theater?
Yeah, that's a good question. In high school, I was in a huge high school, by the way. It was like 400 or 500 people just in one grade level. So it was almost like a pre-college in a way. I was thinking about that this week. I went to high school, but it was like almost I had 2 college experiences. I was always drawing things constantly. I didn't get too good at math. I was super interested in biology. And they had me in these English classes called skills development classes. Yeah, they thought I was like special needs, but I was just constantly distracted. I didn't have ADHD. I was just kind of bored with most of my courses. And then when I found theater, or theater found me, funny enough, the woman, Beth Rothermick, who ran the whole department, was a therapist. So she had sort of integrated the idea of theater with therapy. So I think for me, that was almost like my first session of therapy where it grounded me.
Okay.
Gave me this outlet for all my creativity where I could become someone else. Right in this show. And by my senior year, I was doing the lead in all of the straight theater shows. So,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
That's so interesting. I mean, it just makes me think too, how many people in the world who are just highly creative get labeled as, something's wrong.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I definitely don't fit the mold. Right. And
Yeah.
I'm basically just a natural born outsider. I don't fit in even with the theater folks. So if you can
Why
move it
do
on
you
into,
do that? Like, in
yeah,
what
even
way?
when I got into college, it's like, okay, I'm in the theater department, but all my friends were in the music department or in the art department. And those are the people that I resonated with. So I think it's just me. I'm in this perpetual state of arriving. And I don't feel comfortable once I get comfortable. I got to try something
Yeah.
new. Maybe it's the growth mindset, or maybe it's just the constant state of learning. But yeah, I was really interested in theater, and I was doing a Bachelor of Fine Arts. But to paint the picture for you, I stepped that down to a Bachelor of Arts. So now only a much smaller amount of courses need to be in the theater department.
Yeah.
Now I get to study sculpture. I get to study botany. I get to study Japanese. Nihongo wa dekimasu ne. And
How many
it just
languages do you speak?
lit up.
You lived in
Oh,
Thailand for many years. I know you speak that
I would
language.
say Thai. Yeah, putai gadai na. The Japanese I have is just very formal and very like, how are you doing? But my Thai is, I married a woman from Thailand as well. She's my heart and soul. So yeah, there's just, my kids are learning Thai from both of us, and I cook Thai food. And in a lot of ways, I'm probably as Thai as I am American.
How
But we
many
can talk
years
about
did you
that
live?
later.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
7
Well,
years. Yeah, 7 years
7,
long.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. And your wife lives here now? Yeah.
Naturalized citizen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. That's incredible. How did you learn the language? Do you think it's your creative brain that helps you to learn things like that?
I wonder. Yeah, I always thought there's like the left brain, right brain thing, but my cousin is a psychiatrist. He said there's no grounds to any of that. Your brain has to be cut in half for that to make sense, I think. So for me, I think it's the creative side, because Thai is tonal. So you literally have to sing a song to make Thai work. So There's a sentence, right? I'll give you a little tick.
Okay.
Who sold the chicken egg? Kai 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 guy. Kai 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 guy.
It's so bad
Kai
in the
kai
background.
kai guy. Yeah, and there's another one like wet wood doesn't burn, and I don't know that one, but it's like my.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tonal. So if you say ma is horse, ma is dog, and meh is mom. So if you're not careful, you can call your girlfriend's mom a dog. You can get into some hairy stuff really quick, right?
Yeah. Fascinating. Language is just fascinating. Anyway,
It is. Yeah, it is.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
incredible that you can do that so naturally. Do you think a lot of it comes from, like, immersion, being there and then having
Yeah,
your life
I
and
think that's a really good question. I think naturally I am a empathetic person and I want to understand other people's perspectives. It's just I was raised really Christian, like a serious born again Protestant Christian mindset. So I
Mhm,
think I'm kind of steeped in that. Mm. Going to Thailand, a lot of the expats, they called ourselves expats because we're like expatriates. They
mhm,
would
mhm.
go there and then seek out hamburgers and still have like ranch dressing on their salad every night. And that always blew me away. I was like, why are you in Thailand seeking out American culture? And I did the opposite thing. I was trying the fermented fish. I was driving my motorcycle through the mountains to get to that hot spring up there,
That's what I
getting
do
lost.
when I travel.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I wanna eat what you eat. And,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't really like meat, but when I was in Spain, I'm like, "This is what they eat. I'm gonna try it because they
Nice.
love it and this is how they
Yes.
prepare it." And I'm not gonna be like, make a mushroom version. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that.
No, no, I went to Thailand as a vegetarian and they turned me around real quick on that because I was about to starve. Yeah, it's just, you want pork or chicken? It's like, vegetarian? Okay, you can have some rice. It's like,
Thai
yeah.
food is great. I love Thai
Yeah, it
food.
is. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's
You
very,
made me think of I was on a fishing boat once doing snorkeling, and I was like, "I don't eat squid," right? But they were, like, pulling squid out of the ocean and cutting it on the ship, grilling it, and then serving it. It's like, "Okay, well, I'll try that."
how
And when
can
I
it
tell
not be
you,
good?
that was just amazing. That
Exactly.
was the best food I've had, let alone the best squid.
Right.
Just so tender and
Like, why
crispy on
would
the
you miss
outside.
that? I mean, if you have an allergy, I
Right.
understand, but
Allergies, different story.
it's different. Yeah, that's life. But
Yeah.
why would you miss that if somebody loves something so much? And that can be carried over. And David, this is what I already sense from you from the first time I met you. You're just like this. You just love people and you already said it. Be carried over into not only like food, but also just people and opening your heart to what they're trying to do and who they are. And so what if it's different from what I've done or what I know? It's so wonderful to be like, but that's what you love. So tell me more, show me more, let me experience
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I
Having
love
that
that.
open mindset, yeah, it really helps. I think it's conducive to the state of learning, right? Like, how are you gonna learn something new if I'm closing the door to your mindset or your culture or what you eat?
Yeah. Well, and just
Yeah.
what you bring as a person. It's why you're such a compelling person because
Oh,
you
thank
have
you.
that heart about you.
Thank you.
It's like you can walk into a room and everyone knows that you wanna know about me,
Yeah.
you know?
My mom told me a story when I was really young. She worked at famous bar, now it's Macy's in St. Louis. There was a janitor, a person of color, and everyone just kinda like just, dismissed him, I guess, quickly. And she said she always made a point to, like, ask him how his day was. And I don't know why that thought just came up, but I think that really influenced how I view the world. Like, it doesn't matter, like, your class or your race or your title. It's like we literally are all just people.
Yeah, like we want happiness and love and we want to have food, we want to have family, And it's like, what in the world? Yeah, we're a lot more similar at a baseline than we realize. And then it becomes just sort of this beautiful thing of, oh, that's how you decorate, or that's what you show. Like why like that
Yeah.
your choice in decoration doesn't have to make me mad, though sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's a
I
choice.
mean, it is a choice. We can choose how we react. Yeah.
Why I thought about that, I have no idea.
No, you made me think of something. It's a Bjork song. Like, it's like you can't choose what you've been given, but you can choose what you give,
Yeah,
And it's kinda simple, but it's kinda deep at the same time.
what you give and also what you do with what you've been
Yeah,
given. Yeah.
Right.
How you can't choose what happens, but you can choose how to respond.
How to play the cards.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in your work, tell us more about the work that you do right now. You are an instructional designer officially, right?
Officially.
Isn't it
Yeah.
e-learning primarily?
Right now, it is primarily e-learning. I've gotten more into content curation because we're serving a really large member base with a small company. So we're partnering with Go One. It's a
Mm.
pretty well-known partner, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
just creating playlists for different skill sets.
Okay.
And I raised my hand for that because I'd never done it. And now
Yeah.
I'm the skill set bundle curator guy.
You're the guy.
But yeah, a main thing for the job really is just maintenance. We have a lot of e-learnings. I think I'm still finding e-learnings that we've created at our organization. So it's just like this thing's not working or this code has been updated. So just going into the articulate storyline file, making the change,
Okay. Okay.
printing the
You
SCORM and
facilitate too, though, don't you? It's not the only thing. I don't know if you do it
yeah,
within your role, but I know you do it at
I
conferences.
do. Even though I'm even though I'm an instructional designer, I'll just create content and present it at work just because I can.
And they
So
let you.
yeah,
They're
I've
like, "All
done
right, David's
I do.
presenting. Gather
They're
around."
like, "Oh, I have a secret title. I'm called the happiness ambassador. That's my I have a badge. Actually, the badge is upstairs. I know it's at work. We're moving offices, so I'm in a state of flux.
I saw your
But
post about that. A lot of times you see
yeah,
those posts and people are being laid off, but you're like, "Nope, just moving."
yeah, yep. Packing up. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Literally just out of this space, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think we go for the opportunities we find, and then you and I were talking before we hit record about the idea of going to therapy and like finding your path. And I think the career it's a state of flux. It's an ongoing project. Right. So I am looking at getting into career coaching more and maybe finding something that's more aligned with my skill set. I think a lot of us, and I've listened to a lot of learning and development podcasts, and I always hear the people say, I just kind of fell into it. Like learning and development found me.
Yeah, a lot
And
of people
it
say that.
resonates with me. It's a really, like I just said it. So now it's like the 100,000th time that's been said on an L&D podcast.
L&D
But
found you.
yeah,
That's so interesting.
yeah,
I don't know if
it is.
L&D found me.
Really?
I don't know if that's what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I
I
mean, I
don't know.
applied for that job. The first training job I had was at Macy's Credit Customer Service. I applied for that job,
Yeah.
but again, I kind of fell into teaching English because I wanted to see the world. So
It's so
it's a
interesting. Did I
series
fall
of
into it?
events.
My friend slash director in college was the training manager at a company, and he needed trainers, so he hired the actors that were at school with him.
Yeah, it sounds like it found you.
It found me, I guess. Yeah, and I was like,
When
"Oh,
you go back
I
far
can
enough,
have
I
a
guess.
job as a person performing?"
Well, I think the discussion is always like when you grow up, you say I want to be a firefighter. Like I wanted to be a spaceman. I wanted to be an astronaut. No one really is in third grade like I'm going to be an instructional designer.
Well,
Like
that's true. I'm
most
gonna
people
be a
don't even know
virtual
what that is.
trainer. That didn't even exist
People
when I
still
was in
think I
college.
say it. They think I mean interior designer every time. Like, so you design curtains? I'm like, no, I'm an instructional
Well,
designer.
I'm pretty
You
convinced that
choose paint
most
colors?
people in my family, like people who aren't in L&D with me,
Uh huh.
they all think I design websites because I work on computers.
Work on computers. Yeah. No, you're right. My heart really is in training facilitation. But let me tell you a secret. When I went to theater school, I went for a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting, and then I kind of got bored with acting. So then I did a BA so I can go study tech theater. And
Yeah,
then I studied lighting and tech to set design, and I got to design stuff backstage. Then I got into training facilitation.
there you
Then I
go.
went backstage to do ID work. So it's just that's just how
It
I am. I want to
tracks.
keep moving around. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much of like creating scenes and building environments and managing the emotional arcs and adding in the stories. It's all theater. So much of what we
It
do.
really is.
It
Yeah.
is. It's really cool. Do you find that like are there some specific things that you learned in theater school that you bring to the way you do e-learning work?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually what I had kind of written here a little bit about my experience in theater school and how that informs my L&D world. The one thing that came to mind is just like the new trend on learner experience. What you just said made me think of that, thinking about the emotional state of the learner or how easy it is for them to get through the program or where their mindset or focus is going to be. I think the easy answer, the low hanging fruit, is if you're an actor, you're used to remaining open, right? I'm not just going to like turn around, or I'm not just going to upstage myself while I'm presenting. And I think a lot of that just becomes natural to you if you've been working in theater long enough, right? And then also just, yeah, just like the listening. I think we talked about that before we hit record, as far as if you want to be present on stage, you need to be actually listening to the other person, because they might mess up their line. And now you got the through line just changed because they said it wrong. So
Got to figure out where we're going to go now. And
you
then
better be listening.
not only like figure out where to go now on that thing, but then leave it open enough so they can go again and pick it up. And so there's this constant. And like how many times when you're training, we're like, all right, so let's break down the process. And step number 3 is often very challenging. Where are each of you with that? And what have you found? They'll be like, it was challenging. And then you're at the facilitator, you're like, yes. And then when it was challenging, what was happening?
Can you describe that? Can you give me anything else on that?
Literally anything will be better,
Like
or not better, but
anything?
I need
Yeah.
more. Tell me
Like,
more, the
yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
line of the
Yeah.
trainer.
I think it's interesting because you asked the question theater school, but it's almost like I didn't really go to theater school. Like I said, I branched out. I studied a lot of world religion, a lot of global aesthetics was something I got into, sculpture. So I think for me, being, like I said, the Venn diagram, I sort of carry all that with me, if that makes sense. And one thing I wanted to kind of mention was being in philosophy and being in theater created this really strange experience for me in college, where I started to notice these things that aligned. And one of them was the concept of emptying yourself, like removing the concept of self from you was very present in theater and in ancient religion or ancient
Mhm.
philosophy, right? So um, I think what kept me in theater was all of the body work, all of the yoga, and all of the Tai Chi, and all of the Qigong and meditation. And this concept of, if I'm going to become this other person, I need to remove all the muscle tension out so that I can just kind of transform myself into another character or have another
Right.
way of holding my body.
Yeah, it's like we need
So,
body awareness to
yeah, just
become,
that
maybe for lack of a better word, the vessel for that
the
moment.
empty vessel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then you think about Brahmanism, which just talks about how we are not the self, we are Brahman. And then any concept of the self is an image that we're projecting onto a screen, and it's false, right? And so then
Get
that
through.
gave way to the Upanishads and the Veda, and that informed Hinduism and Judaism. And then obviously we get Christianity. So it's all from that original thought that it's all just one thing. So I think that was a huge realization for me. Like I said, being raised as this Christian Protestant, like born again, it's all Jesus. And then having that world religion opened up for me. And then compiling that with literally doing the body work, like doing the meditation, doing the yoga, it all just kind of came together in a really nice way. And
Yeah.
so I think moving forward, if I can paint the picture even further, when I went to Thailand, that when it got really fun, I'm like, I'm in a new place. Everyone here is like, they're from England, or they're from Scotland, or they're Thai, or they're from China or Japan. How about I use the theater term, the magic what if? What if Dave wasn't the Dave in theater school? What if Dave, he's a guy who rides around on his motorcycle and lives for scuba diving, you know?
Yeah.
He's not a vegetarian, he eats steak. So it's just like there was like this concept of, I'm in a new space, I can be whatever I want. And so that was very theater based, right? I'm
Wow.
making this all about me.
Well, it's supposed to be. I love
Okay,
it.
cool. Yeah,
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 it's
cool.
great. I mean, this is so interesting.
But
It's very deep, honestly. This, like I said, you have like, if we had things popping around us, like we
hmm,
can when we are online, uh, you have a whole bunch of yeses popping around you to me. You're a person who is just so
Nietzsche.
open to
Nietzsche
like,
wrote about being a yay sayer. You just yay sayer.
you're kind of like
Yeah,
that, like you, and I'm
I like
not
that.
saying that you are agreeable, but it is that you are just so open to
Appreciate that.
learning and being what is happening and you see it that way and I want to know everything about it, and then you add it in and you're open all the time. Maybe open is a better word than yes, but it's
Maybe.
cool.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of said that a few times already. Yeah. I'm still thinking of how I want to connect it back to learning and development, but
It's like
I,
you
th-
embody learning and development just by who you are as you move through the world. Like you're just
well,
like
cool.
always learning. It's really, really
I'll just keep
neat.
talking. Yeah.
It's quite inspiring, actually.
Thanks. No, I think for me, the main thing I got out of theater school, honestly, was aesthetics. The global aesthetics was something that all the art students were like, oh, there's this class you got to take. It's with Dr. Joellen Jacobs. This is the coolest class in the whole school. So I finally took it, and it did literally blow me away, talking about just reading these articles that are written on the philosophy of beauty.
Wow.
By the end of theater school, I just wanted to study that. I'm like, I need to go get my master's in this.
Wow.
And then life happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one that really, really stuck with me is the Japanese version called wabi sabi. A wabi sabi is this concept that there's beauty in objects that have obviously been used. Like when a table has kind of
Yes.
like a worn edge,
Yes.
or like a tool looks like you can tell this tool has been used. There's an aesthetic to that. And when I heard that being written in this very formal document, it's just, yeah, obviously, that's such an obvious thing to me that
Yeah.
a worn tool is just way cooler than a brand new tool at Lowe's or whatever, right?
To bring this into modern fashion, I do think
Okay.
Golden Goose sneakers have made an entire business model out of this concept.
Yes. Or the torn jeans, or you can get faded T-shirts at Target. I don't know if that's fashionable or not. It is
I
to
know,
me
like,
when
what's the trend there, but
if
yeah,
it's a
there's something
NASA
there.
T-shirt, it's cool. But
It's like the main thing being, yeah, of course it's trend, but at the same time, there's a little something more to that, a la the
yeah,
wabi-sabi idea.
yeah. Well, and I think another theme in aesthetics is like, is it genuine? So is it true? So one of the topics we had, how you walk into like a sports place, or maybe not a sports, but like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro, been to those, like, and it's just a big metal warehouse, but they like glue a bunch of rocks on the wall and like a
Yeah,
bunch of like pieces of wood. And it's like that's kind of a false aesthetic, and there's
yeah,
like a lack of quality in that. Whereas if you go out to Colorado, it's like, no, it's a lodge built out of rocks and timber.
yeah.
And that is just 100 times better because it's
Although
legitimate, right? It's honest.
although no disrespect to the kitsch of the world, like,
Okay.
when I think about that, I'm like, "Wait a second, I do love all that." Well, maybe, like, whatever might embody, like, anything that is Las Vegas, perhaps.
Okay. There's something to it.
There's
Yeah.
something to
And
that too,
yeah,
the
100%.
tiki bar, right?
And I think that's where it kind of led me is like, it's all good. Like there's another one, like if you go down to Alabama, I just recently learned last week or a couple weeks ago with my cousin, there's this whole new thing called Seaside. Have you heard of this?
No.
If you go like into Florida, starting from Alabama, and you go further east, there's these new buildings that they look like they're wabi sabi. They look like they're these really old, worn buildings, but they are anything but. They are brand new, and they cost $500 a night to stay in this little bungalow, right? And it's what for like the people in New York, the really high earners can go down to the beach and have like a seaside experience.
So
It's a
it's all
false aesthetic.
manufactured to be like like, living on the beach, like,
Yeah,
yeah, just making it
beach
work
bum,
kinda
a
thing.
small
Beach
town.
bumming, like, the idea of beach bumming, but it's actually
But it's
super
not. It's a
expensive to
brand new
do.
house. Yeah. But it's like at a certain point, like, do you care?
No,
I
who
was like,
cares?
if I could afford it, I love that aesthetic. And like the hurricanes have washed away all those beach towns. They don't exist.
Right,
So, I
right.
mean, at the end of the day, doesn't matter.
Your openness and your willingness to learn and go with the flow, I think, and sometimes you and I have talked about this, I think in roundabout ways. But sometimes I know, and I hope you don't mind me asking, it's hard to
Sure.
get focused, would you say? To stay focused and to stay in one place? Can we
Yes.
talk about that for a moment? Because I do think a
Yeah.
person like you who's so open and so willing to do so many things, how does this impact being focused and staying in place? And does that even need to be there?
It does. It does need to be there. And you hit the nail on the head. I think having many interests, there is that risk of jack of all trades, master of none. But also, it's hard for me to focus on things that I'm not interested in. Even in school, they sent me to like therapists or to like specialists. Like, this kid is obviously 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they put ADHD on you?
But then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I'm in like this new environment and someone's asking me these compelling questions, and I'm like 100% there. They're like,
Yeah.
no, he's fine. He's super bright.
Yeah, and
But it's
things
like I
that
wasn't diagnosed anything. Hell, he's just a creative. I don't know. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think that's maybe why I'm going to go back and do some career coaching, right? It's like, is there something else maybe that's a better fit for me than instructional design? And now I'm just being raw, right? I'm just putting it out there.
I mean, I do think
I don't know
that
if I
David,
answered your question.
you did, of course you did. The creatives of the world, we don't fit into the boxes, and so I wonder if the problem isn't that we don't fit, but rather the world doesn't fit us.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that earlier this week because I knew I was going to be on this show and I understand the topic. And I feel like in our modern society, I love it when people write about or talk about how like creativity really isn't rewarded, right? There's not a direct ROI on that.
A direct one, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of
And we,
expected, and if you have it, then you get lifted up, but then it's not valued per se.
yeah, people will say that, but then the subtext are, I'm a theater guy, right? So I can kind of read what their actual message is. David, you're so creative. Oh, that's so creative. And it's like, that wasn't a compliment.
Yeah, you
You
wouldn't like
said
that.
it.
You went out
It's
you
almost
drew
like,
out of the lines, and we've got a
my
line
heart goes out to you, you damn creative. I feel for
where they
you.
say, "Poor little thing,"
Poor little thing.
bless
Yeah.
his
Oh,
heart.
God bless your soul. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm a trainer and I'm listening today. And, you are a person who's so open
Feel
to
you.
learning and creatively approaches not only learning and development, but life. What's a tip or a trick or something you could give me to maybe help me be open, more open like you are?
I feel like in learning and development, it's like we're all part of the same network, right? We're all unique parts of that network. To bring it back to kind of the idea of Brahmanism for me, because that's just a common theme. We're really not all that different, right? But then I think at the same point, we need to think about the learner and how the learner lives in a different world than us. The learner isn't always going to be in that growth mindset state. And so I think a lot of times I take it personally when the learner takes some of my learning and they're like, well, it was okay. They're like, no, that was amazing. Like that should have blown your mind. So it's the brain does remain plastic and we can learn new things and create new pathways. And that's so exciting for someone, I think, in our line of work, but that doesn't excite everyone. And I think we just need to be okay with that.
Be
Just
okay with it.
accept it.
They're just doing their best.
They're in a different world.
Yeah. Like, even though we
Yeah.
may be connected and we may be very similar, it is their world, and they're not
Yeah.
ready for that moment, or it just doesn't resonate at that time, or yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't devalue what you've delivered, what you've given, and all that you've put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
beautiful, and I think very
thank you.
necessary because I do know that as a trainer and facilitator and speaker myself, that I do worry all the time that it had to be perfect for everyone all the time. And I know I smile when I say it because I know it's ridiculous as I just said it, but it is
Yeah.
still what I feel. And I recognize the difference between a feeling and a fact. I get it, but I'm a
I
feeling
mean,
kind of girl.
I could talk a whole hour just on that, right? We think the rational mind is in control, but it's not.
Oh gosh.
There's
Yeah.
going to be 30% of people that love it, 30 hate it, and 30 don't even know it happened, no matter what you do. So you might as well just have fun, right?
What about the other 10?
Well, that's like the people that are doing drugs. They're in the gutter.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna write them off.
Listen, I'm just feeling really proud that I just did math right
You
now.
did. I think it was like 9.9, but yeah, close enough.
You did 30, 30, 30. Okay. I see. 30, 60. You did 90. That's what I did in my head.
33.3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can math sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah, we
it's
just
not.
mathed a little bit. Now we
You
ruined
did.
that whole math. On that note, stay tuned for part 2 from David Kolmer. David, where can we get in touch with you and what's coming next?
Yeah, sure. You can check me out on LinkedIn. I'm definitely there. You can listen to some of my podcasts at gamelayer.fm. I also still write a little bit on improvementdave.com. What's next is I want to be doing more Game Layer stuff live. So I'm going to be out I'm calling it Game Layer Alive. They're micro episodes that are shot out in the field.
Oh, I love that.
That's what I'm working on.
We will be staying tuned for that. Well,
Cool.
it was an honor
Exciting.
to have you as a guest today. We'll be sure to note all of those links and connections in our show notes today. And I can't wait to see what you will be up to next. Thanks for being
Same.
here today.
Likewise.
That's your spark. Now go light something up. And hey, if this episode lit you up, share it with a friend, a fellow facilitator, or someone who needs a little more connection in their day. Be sure to follow the Spark Konnect so you don't miss what's next. We've got more brilliant voices, bold ideas, and heart-forward conversations coming your way. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and keep showing up.